Welcome to Module 3, Video 1 of the Lead Quizzes Facebook Comprehensive Guide. I'm Lindsay, and joining me today we have Donnaberry Beiser, Lead Quizzes co-founder. In this module, we're going to cover everything Facebook in terms of setting up your targeting and your campaigns. So Donnaberry, tell us what you've been doing with Facebook and Lead Quizzes over the last 2.5 years.
So I've been helping our customers generate leads using quizzes and Facebook ads. I've been helping them set up the advertising campaign, optimizing it, coming up with the right quizzes, and figuring out what's going to be the right targeting for them on Facebook, and how are they going to convert those leads into customers.
So making them look good on Facebook
Yeah.
is one of your prime jobs,
Yeah.
which everyone needs that. So today you're going to teach us a little bit about staying Facebook compliant, how to do that, and why it's so important, which number one reason why that's important is if you don't have a Facebook ad account, then you're not going to be running Facebook ads. So Donnaberry is going to make sure that we stay compliant and share with us some things that we should know before we start running Facebook ads today. So first, where do we need to go to even learn about what Facebook allows and doesn't allow?
So the first place that you need to go in order to figure out what Facebook's going to allow you to advertise is www.facebook.com/policies/ads, and that's going to give you an overview of what Facebook finds acceptable and what they don't find acceptable on their platform in terms of advertising. And it's also going to share with you some tips as well to create effective ads.
So it's their basic guidelines
Yeah.
that you need to be following, and you should be pretty familiar with those because that's what Facebook is ultimately going to use to decide if I'm in compliance or not. Alright, so I know that there are certain restrictions when it comes to running ads, and there's special restrictions in certain areas. What are some different areas that we should be aware of and we should know about before we create a quiz for it?
Yeah, before you create a quiz for any of these areas, you need to make sure you talk to Facebook or really have a great understanding of their advertising policy. And those areas are alcohol, dating, gambling, supplements, and financial services. If you're going to be building a quiz in any of those industries, you're going to have to really understand what Facebook's going to allow you to do on Facebook, and also what they're not going to allow you to do, and if you need special permissions. Because, for example, gambling, you need special permissions from Facebook in order to run ads that relate to gambling or anything that remotely resembles it.
Same thing with any firearms or guns, anything like that. Typically, Facebook doesn't allow that, including in images that you guys use, so it's something to be aware of if you are in that industry. Now, you had mentioned dating. I know with dating, a lot of times you have to get special permission from Facebook. When it comes to quizzes, though, can we still do relationship-style quizzes without getting special permission?
Yeah, you can still do relationship-style quizzes on Facebook without getting prior permission from Facebook, but you want to be really careful as to how you word your ads. That's why you really want to reference the Facebook advertising policy. And we also have templates that are already in the Lead Quizzes template section on dating that's already been pre-approved quizzes that you can actually run on Facebook that we've actually ran ourselves and we've seen great results from.
So what are some things that people should be aware of when it comes to maybe wording that they're using in their advertising, or how they're kind of reaching out to that audience in order to stay compliant?
You don't want to call out Facebook users' attributes. That's a no-no. Facebook discourages that. First of all, Facebook doesn't want their users to be creeped out. And second of all, calling out a user's attribute in any negative form, for example, if they need to lose weight, and that's a very sensitive topic that Facebook doesn't want their users to have to go through, or
and to be like, why does Facebook know I need to lose 20 pounds? I'm so confused.
Exactly. So keeping your Lead Quizzes Facebook ads very positive and result-based and on your product or service that you're offering is going to be the best route to go when you're running a Lead Quizzes Facebook advertising campaign.
Something that I also want to remind you guys of, if you get an ad that isn't approved, don't sweat it. It happens to everyone, and there is different ways where you can get that ad to actually be approved in the future. Donnaberry, can you speak a little bit about how we can maybe change the decision that Facebook originally gives us and how we can get those ads approved once they've been disapproved?
If one of your ads gets disapproved, what you want to do is reach out to Facebook and see why they disapproved it. Sometimes the disapproval process is automated, so if Facebook's automated system finds something out of the ordinary in your ads and it flags it and disapproves it. It doesn't mean your ad is not compliant. It just means that the automated system just triggered a disapproval, and you can sometimes get it manually approved by a Facebook rep.
So is there a way that we can contact them even before we launch these ads to see if, maybe I'm on the fence, it's my first time running ads,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, can I talk to them about that?
Yeah, so I believe every advertising account on Facebook has a chat option now where that opens up in Facebook Messenger and allows you to reach out to a representative that's going to be able to review your ads with you and see if it's compliant and also give you feedback on your ads. But if you're not able to access chat, you can go to www.facebook.com/business/resources, and you'll see a whole bunch of resources of where you can contact Facebook. You can also post in open forums about any particular ideas that you have related to your ads before you run it, and you'll get feedback from a group of reps that are available just to help you out with Facebook advertising.
And other users as well.
Yeah.
So like if you have a problem, you submit it to Facebook and you haven't heard back, odds are if you go in there, somebody else is having that problem and they've already submitted it as well. So they can tell you kind of what's going on. So it's a really great way to connect with what other advertisers are doing there, which is really awesome.
Yep.
Now, what happens if I am continually non-compliant with Facebook? Like, do you have any suggestions for circumnavigating that? Is there any way to do that? Or like, we just need to make sure we stay compliant?
You don't want to get too many flags from Facebook because at a certain point, Facebook will disable your ad account. And maybe it's time you also take a look at like what particular product that you're advertising and how you're angling your ad campaign as to why you're getting always constantly disapproved on Facebook. Because at the end of the day, Facebook wants to protect their users. Their users are their biggest asset, and they don't want to lose their users' attention because an advertiser decided to put something that causes negative feelings whenever a user logs onto their platform.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there any other tips that you want to share with us about staying Facebook compliant, things that we should know before we start running ads?
Yeah, the last thing I'd like to share with you guys is also, before you start creating ads, make sure you create a couple backup accounts just in case your ad account does get banned one of your ad accounts does get banned on Facebook. That doesn't mean to use it as a way to get around the Facebook advertising policy. It's just a way to have something that in your pocket in case one of your ad accounts get banned, and you can get back up and running the next day without having to haggle with Facebook for the next 2 to 3 weeks or for however long it takes. And that's just a way to also keep your business running, especially if you really depend on Facebook advertising to generate leads and customers.
Yeah, and speaking to that, where you can't just circumnavigate the compliancy there, and you have to still stay compliant. One thing that Facebook will do if you continually get ad accounts banned is they're going to put actually like a block. They're going to blacklist your credit card. So you're not going to be able to use it at all on Facebook. So keep that in mind. It's not a way to get around these policies. It's just something that you can do to make sure that your ads, keep going and that your business stays running while you're working with Facebook to figure out the compliance issue there. All right, wonderful. Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us today, Donna Berry. I really appreciate that. Donna Berry is going to be joining us throughout the rest of this module. And the next video, we're going to go over the different types of audiences you can create on Facebook for your advertising.